Language is the very basis of communication, and although spoken language is only one part of this, it is also the part that allows me to turn this written script into a more entertaining video. Hopefully. Now, there are a ton of languages in the world, over 7,000 of which are spoken to this day, and that doesn't even include dialects. And even though humans would likely be able to understand each other to some extent without ever speaking,
lean with it, rock with it, to the left.
It really does help to be able to understand what someone is trying to say. And that's why learning languages is one of the most important ways of enabling communication between people, which in its turn allows for so many more things, like sharing culture, learning new skills, understanding how other people think and how they live together in a society. And food, that's the best part. But learning languages from zero can be pretty challenging, considering how different the structures of languages can be. Luckily, there are many different apps and websites that can help you, not just with getting started, but also with simply improving your understanding of a language. One of those apps is Duolingo. It is the most well-known language app with over 100 million monthly active users. This isn't an ad, by the way. I mean, Duolingo, if you need me to, hit me up. I've been using Duolingo to learn Japanese for almost 900 days at this point in the video. Most of those days I simply did one lesson to keep my streak and then never opened the app again until the next day. But recently, I decided I was gonna step it up a level. You see, Duolingo has these leagues, and every league has a leaderboard with a couple of people, where the more XP you obtain from doing lessons, the higher you'll be on the leaderboard. Then, at the end of the week, if you're high enough on the leaderboard, you are promoted to the next league. Of course, if you're too low on the leaderboard, you can also get demoted to the previous league. I was always stuck around the Ruby or Emerald League, even by only doing one lesson a day. So I figured, surely it can't be that difficult to make it to the top, right? When I started, I was just promoted from the Emerald League after doing a bunch of lessons and challenges right before the end of the week and finishing first place with 1000 XP. Here, in the Amethyst League, things went a little different. I figured I'd just get maybe 200 XP the next day to have a steady spot in the promotion zone for the first day. Nope. Last place of the promotion zone had 150 XP. But you already know I wanted the top spot, 415 XP. Half the XP I had in the entire previous league in one day. And who knows what would happen overnight. Luckily, I had plenty of free time to grind out 500 XP to gain first, before calling it quits for the day, but this did not bode well for the leagues yet to come. Now, on day 2, I did this challenge thing, which is basically you match the words on the left with their corresponding translations on the right, and then repeat that as many times as it takes to finish the level. It gives quite a good amount of XP in a relatively short amount of time, especially at the high levels, but the higher the level, the less time you have to complete it, and if you run out, which is likely to happen at the later levels, you have to pay gems to continue the level. Also, it costs gems to start the level in the first place, unless you have Duolingo Super, and that kind of feels like pay to win. So I decided I wasn't going to spend a single gem more after this. Okay, well, after a couple of levels, it's just too convenient not to. But from this point onwards, you will not see this gem count go any lower than this. After a couple more days of some basic Duolingo grinding and the app trying to convince me to join the dark side with their propaganda, I ended up getting first place in the league with over 2000 XP, which got me promoted to the Pro League has just started, and oh, there's only 4 days left, and somehow I'm in 17th with only 29 XP. Honestly, I have no idea what happened. There seems to be a gap in my recordings, and it's been so long, at this point I've already gotten a 1000-day streak. Over a month ago. So it's not like I remember. I've been busy, okay? Give me a break. Anyways, while I'm stuck at 29 XP, the number 1 in the league has close to 1000. That's fine, no big deal. I'll just and there we go. Much better. At this point, things were still very much bearable. Yes, I had to do quite a number of lessons, like on day 4 of the Pearl League, I grinded for 20 minutes to get 900 XP, the day after I grinded for 42 minutes to get 1300 XP. Wait, that doesn't add up. Oh right, I was busy throwing darts! See, grinding lessons back to back can really start to do your head in. Luckily, Duolingo blesses us with involuntary breaks in between lessons. I'm talking about ads. Lots of ads. I mean, at least some are interactable, like this one where I had to make my country great. Ooh, taxes. We gotta have those. Nice. All jokes aside though, it really was nice to have a break in between lessons every once in a while to keep me somewhat sane. There's also these listening exercises, which are a really nice change of pace as well, except for the ones with Lucy. She scares me.
Remember, I'm always listening.
But this relatively laid-back way of going about it was about to change real soon, because by the end of the week, I had climbed my way up to 2nd place with over 4000 XP. Oh, I thought you were gonna go for first. Shut up, okay? At least I didn't spend any gems during this. Well, okay, I did have to buy hearts because I kept messing up, but aside from that, I didn't spend any. I'm a man of my word. Anyways, after deciding 2nd place was good enough, I went to sleep, and when I woke up the next day, I was ready to take on the next challenge. I was getting close to the end, but the more leagues I climbed, the more XP I needed to grind, and I was gonna have to get serious. So I formulated a plan to get a good amount of XP every single day. Duolingo has these 3 daily quests that, when completed, reward you with XP boosts, specifically 10 minutes of 1.5 times, 2 times, and 3 times XP, the latter of which only unlocks the next day. Now, these quests are often not too difficult to complete, so if I just did my lessons, I'd be able to tick them off quite easily. On the first day of the Obsidian League, I actually had a triple XP boost ready, so I could use those 10 minutes to grind as many lessons as possible. As for the other boosts, when you already have an active boost and activate another, it takes the highest multiplier and adds the durations together, so if I did all 3 quests, I would have triple XP for 30 minutes every single day. Say every lesson takes about 3 minutes, with a minute of time lost to ads and whatever else may happen to you. That's about 7 lessons a day, each worth around 90 XP if you make no mistakes. That's over 600 XP a day, meaning I could get over 4000 XP in the league simply by doing lessons for half an hour a day. So with that plan in mind, I decided to lock in and grind out 30 minutes of triple XP to get a safe spot on the leaderboard. Well, I was grinding so hard, Duolingo themselves felt the need to stop me.
Stop it.
In all seriousness though, this kinda sucked. I had already activated my triple XP boost, and the first chest gave me gems for some reason. And I'd only done 3 lessons. So after the maintenance break, I checked the leaderboards, and I was in 13th with only 200 XP. I had to grind my way up, with no triple XP boost, meaning it took 3 lessons just to get out of the demotion zone. During this, I did complete my quest though, which meant tomorrow I'd have a triple XP boost again, and for now, I had 10 minutes of double XP. So I put it to good use and grinded 5 more lessons so I could end the day in 2nd place with 573 XP. The next day was luckily much less troublesome. So much so that there really isn't that much to show. I just did my 30 minutes, completed my quests, and ended up in 1st place with over 1800 XP. That's an increase of almost double what I calculated I'd get. I don't know how that happened. I guess the plan was just more efficient than I thought it was. Seeing how well the plan worked, I just continued it for the rest of the week. I'll spare you guys the 3 hours of footage, here's a spreadsheet of the data instead. But yeah, long story short, I got 1st with over 6000 XP. And then I got promoted to the Diamond League. That's it. Do the transition thing. Finally, I'd arrived at the final stop. Just one more stretch and it would be over. To be honest, this was pretty much the exact same as the Obsidian League. Just follow the plan and all ends well. And so I did. You know the drill. Here's the spreadsheet. This time it took me a little over 3 hours to get through the whole league. I ended up not finishing first, because what the hell is this? But I did end up in 5th place, which was good enough, and meant I had finally won. Wait, what? No! Kill me now. Yeah, so basically, the Diamond League is only really the minimal requirement to enter the Diamond Tournament, which is basically just 3 more leagues, those being quarterfinals, semifinals, and lastly, the finals. Now this sucked. What sucked more was that I was going on a trip during the semifinals. But I decided that that was going to be a problem for future me, because right now, it is time to enter the first round of the tournament. This was literally just a copy of the Diamond League. Even easier, in fact. I'm not even gonna bother. Here's a spreadsheet. It's the week of the semifinals, and I'm going on a trip, which means I won't be able to grind quite as much as before. Still, I started the semifinals with my usual routine, but after 3 days, things were not looking very good. But oh, what's this? Challenge event? Yeah, remember when I said I wouldn't spend gems anymore? I lied. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures, and I had some ground to make up. So I spent the rest of the week as tourist during the day and competitive Duolingo grinder at night. Nevertheless, the competition fought back, and with just 1 day left, I was still stuck, almost 4,000 XP away from the finals. Luckily, this was also the day I was heading back home, so I ended up grinding the challenge mode for over an hour in one sitting. Trust me, that is not good for your mental health. But in this case, it was worth it, because as the league came to a closure, I had just about reached the quota with almost 10,000 XP. I was mentally exhausted, stuck in Germany, and broke beyond compare, but hey, I was also in the finals! I started the finals with my usual plan. I knew it likely wouldn't get me very far, but since I spent all my gems, I didn't really have another choice. 4 days in, I realized that it indeed wasn't going to get me very far at all. Something had to change. I needed to find a way to get more XP without it costing gems. And then, I found this. Duolingo apparently also has lessons on maths and music. I tried both and realized that, although the music lessons were horrible, maths is incredibly XP efficient. We're talking 25 XP in under a minute. With the 30 minutes of triple XP, that's over 1000 XP per day. Almost double what I'd calculated for the Japanese lessons. And that calculation was lower than the actual XP I gained. And so, with a new plan of grinding maths, I started climbing the leaderboards little by little. And on the final day, with just 5 hours remaining, I was still stuck in 14th. There's no way I could get enough XP. Was this really it? Was it all over? Just like that? All the hard work? All the struggle? Nope. I had a friend boost ready that grants 30 minutes of double XP, which I could use to extend my triple XP boost to an hour. Chucked that down and started going crazy on the equations. I started going crazy in general. An hour of back-to-back maths questions flashing in your face is not good for your brain. But I pushed through, and in the end, I have managed to get well over 3,500 XP in 1 hour, which brought me up to 6th place on the leaderboard with only 4 hours remaining. There was just one problem. For 3 out of those 4 hours, I had to go to work. And in those 3 hours, the whole leaderboard could shift, and I could be back down and dead lost. I needed a plan. A way to at least stand somewhat of a chance at withstanding the opposition. And so, after a bit of thinking, here's what I came up with. First, you'll have to know that Duolingo has 2 time-based chests, the Night Owl chest and the Early Bird chest, both of which reward you with a 15-minute double XP boost. The Night Owl chest can be unlocked by completing a lesson between 6 PM and midnight, and then to open the chest you'll have to wait until the next morning, where it will be available between 6 AM and 12 PM. The Early Bird chest is basically the same, but 12 hours earlier. These boosts would be really useful for the final hour I would have right after work. But with only 4 hours left, how would I possibly be able to claim any of these rewards? Simple. Before my shift, I would set my phone's time to just before 6 AM. Then, during my shift, I'll hide in the bathroom and open Duolingo. The night owl chest that I unlocked the day before should now be ready to be claimed, which I would use once I got back home. Oh, but isn't that cheating? Remember what happened to the last guy that spoke up? Exactly. With my time set to early morning, I'll also do one more lesson to start unlocking the early bird chest. Then, right before I go home, I'll set my time to 6 PM, so I'll be able to claim that as well. This way, I would have 30 minutes of double XP to fight back with. And with that flawless plan in mind, I hopped on my bike and went to work. Now, before I show you the next part, it's important to note 3 things. For some reason, I thought I could only set my phone's time to an actual time zone, even though the other setting is literally right there, which made things a bit more complicated than they had to be. 2. I was worried the chests wouldn't unlock if the time didn't naturally pass an hour mark, hence why I set my time to slightly before 6 AM. And 3.
Number 3.
I was extremely stressed during this. I was nervous, anxious, terrified of being caught doing Duolingo during my shift. Basically, I couldn't think straight. Okay, with that said, time for work. When I got to work, I first did some work things for a couple of minutes before heading to the bathroom to execute the plan. I opened Duolingo, checked the chests, and as expected, the night owl chest was unlocked. Now all I had to do was start unlocking the early bird chest and go back to work. Why the f did I do that? Yeah, I might have accidentally activated the night owl boost. Honestly, I don't even know what happened. My brain just malfunctioned or something, I don't know. Anyways, I spent the next couple minutes grinding XP and mostly stressing, trying to think of how to save this. I decided to change my time zone back from Honolulu, where it was 6 AM, all the way to the Netherlands, where it was 6 PM, so that the early bird chest would be ready to be claimed, and after the current XP boost runs out, I could start unlocking a new night owl chest. So I opened Duolingo again, went to the shop, and... What is that? Now, even though I'm not exactly sure what happened, it seems the night owl reward from the day before got pushed onto the current day's early bird chest, probably because the active boost is based on time of day. So now I could start unlocking the night owl chest, and I wouldn't have the early bird chest because it's currently active. After a little over 10 minutes in the bathroom, I figured it was time to go back to work, so I went back and worked my ass off so I could go home ASAP. I was a little later than I'd hoped, so as soon as I got home, I opened Duolingo, and to my absolute disgust, I saw that I was dropped outside of the winner range by some guy named Matt. I went to the shop, and to my surprise, I was able to claim the early bird chest, which meant whatever happened before was just a visual bug. Cool, no complaints. I popped the potion and got to work. 15 minutes later, I was back in the safe zone, right above Matt. That's great. But everyone knows safety is a mere illusion that, when trusted, stabs you in the back. I couldn't rest. I had to make sure that if Matt, or anyone else for that matter, decided to start grinding, I wouldn't be kicked out of my deserved winner spot. I changed my time zone to Kamchatka, Russia, where it was 7:42 AM at the time, which allowed me to claim the night owl chest. And then, right as I started the next lesson, yeah, so basically all that trouble with the chests and hiding in the bathroom at work for 10 minutes was completely unnecessary because I had a 3 times XP potion from the quest that I completely forgot about. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice surprise for sure. It just, I don't know, it felt kind of bittersweet. It's still like very sweet. I will gladly use it. So I got back to grinding, and grind I did until the very end. Well, I did mess up so many times I ran out of hearts and had to watch an ad, which caused me to miss the timer hitting 0 because I wanted to finish the lesson, but I ended up reaching a grand 5th place as the tournament came to a closure. Finally, it was over. All that hard work had led up to this moment. I would finally be rewarded for all the pain and effort that went into this. I restarted Duolingo, ready to receive my trophy. Now, it'd be pretty funny if, hypothetically, I didn't actually record the part where I got the trophy. And that's exactly what happened. Apparently my recording software stops recording when you exit out of the app, and doesn't resume when you start it back up. So, no, I did in fact not record the part where I got the trophy. Not that it was anything special though, it's just a still image with some statistics, no music, no applause, Not even a congratulations. Though I did get the status thing, so now I can flex on people. Oh, and I also got a double XP boost, which, honestly, I'd rather use to drown myself with than having to do any more lessons today. Looking back, an important question to ask is, did I gain anything from this? I mean, aside from the immense euphoria I gained from winning the diamond tournament, was this really worth it? Two important things to remember when learning or practicing anything are rest is just as important as actually exercising, and repetition and consistency are key. If I work really hard to remember all these words to complete these lessons, but don't try to remember them outside of the lessons, it's far less effective than occasionally revising a couple of words, gradually adding more words as I go, especially considering how quickly I was going through the lessons at the end, only spending a couple days on certain words before moving on to the next topic. It's not that I didn't gain anything from this, because I definitely learned a lot of new words, but I feel like there are much more efficient ways to learn languages that are far less intensive than whatever this was. Honestly, this almost made me go insane at times. I've always liked how competition can push people beyond their limits, but sometimes taking a step back is taking a step forwards. Now, if you are considering learning a new language, which you should, it's a lot of fun, and you're wondering if you should use Duolingo, here's my quick and honest review. It's convenient, educational, can be fun if done in moderation. It's not very efficient though, lots of ads, solid competition, but pay to win. Overall, I'd give it 3.5 stars. And with that, Where am I? Who's there? I don't know what that means. Please just let me go. What do you want from me? I don't know what you're saying. Is this about the rating? I'll change it, okay? 5 stars! 5 stars!
The question is, what do geometry dashes and soapboxes have in common?
I really am going insane. I'm going to bed.